What's going on, guys? Joe here, back with Bountiful Gardens, Hillsboro, and we're out here enjoying this unusually warm weather we're having this week. It's a bit strange, but all the better for planting. A lot of garden favorites are dropping their leaves this time of the year, but there's a whole nother group of plants that keeps their foliage all year long. That's right, I'm talking about evergreens. When most people think of an evergreen, they think of a pine or a spruce. But there are so many heights, colors, shapes, and textures that you can find one for just about any planting situation. And you won't find a better selection than right here at Bountiful Gardens. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 low-growing evergreens that can be used both as a ground cover and a short hedge: Plum Yews, Sweetbox, and Wintergreen. So without further ado, let me tell you about those yews. If you're looking for a deer-resistant evergreen hedge or a small privacy screen that survives well in the shade, then the plum yew might be right up your alley. These Cephalotaxus work well in just about any style of garden, and they do great as standalone specimens, borders, hedges, privacy screens, or even in containers. Not only are they deer-resistant and shade-tolerant, they have this softer foliage which adds an interesting texture to any garden.
Plum yews are phenomenal traditional evergreen plants that prefer moist, well-draining soils. However, they can tolerate drier, sandier soils. There are 2 main types of plum yews. We have the upright and we have the spreading. In general, they get about 5 to 10 feet tall and wide, whereas the upright are more tight and conical, and then the spreading grow more along the ground.
Plum yews are a shade-tolerant evergreen shrub. They are deer-resistant and are drought and heat tolerant. They also tolerate our tough clay soils, and they work great as a low hedge.
Plum yews are a fantastic, low-maintenance, deer-resistant evergreen shrub that make the perfect foundation planting. Come and find yours today. Up next is a compact shrub with deep green leaves, fragrant spring white flowers, and dark fall berries. Let's take a closer look at Sweetbox. Sweetbox is such an amazingly distinctive, compact evergreen shrub with this lush tropical foliage that can grow in a dense mat up to 2 feet tall and almost 6 feet wide. These deer-resistant plants thrive in partial shade, so they're perfectly suited to be planted underneath larger trees where they can grow into a ground cover, or used as a transitional planting in between other groups of shrubs. Sweetbox can even make a dense, low-growing hedge, which is perfectly suited for a cottage, formal, or even Japanese garden.
Himalayan Sweetbox is a beautiful, neat and tidy evergreen shrub that does best in partial sunlight. It prefers rich, moist, well-draining soil and gets about 2 feet tall and 5 to 6 feet wide. If the soil stays consistently moist, it can do full sunlight.
Not only is Sweetbox a beautiful, dense, lush ground cover, but it also gets covered in these fragrant little white flowers that eventually turn into blue fruits. They're not edible to us, but birds love them. And they've been used in ancient Chinese medicine as an anti-inflammatory drug, often for arthritis or headaches or fever.
Sweetbox are a low-maintenance evergreen ground cover or low hedge. They are deer and rabbit resistant and shade and drought tolerant. They flower with vanilla-scented white flowers from winter to spring, and once those flowers are gone, they form berries that are either red, plum, or black. And those berries hold on until winter.
So, if you're looking for a lush, dense, evergreen shrub that'll stay nice and low in the garden, Sweetbox may be the perfect shrub for you. Wrapping up this week's deep dive is an amazing native perennial ground cover with tasty red berries and lush evergreen foliage. Let me introduce you to Wintergreen. I just love this time of the year when the wintergreen starts producing their berries, because not only are they extremely tasty, but it just reminds me that the holidays are coming up. Gaultheria does really well in part to full shade and semi-moist but well-draining soils. And they also spread with underground root systems that pop up new plants every couple of inches, so you get a nice thick mat of evergreen ground cover. And we actually get to appreciate all the seasonal features of this plant right here. Not only do we have the lush evergreen foliage, but we also have all these amazing berries, and this one's even producing these beautiful white flowers that are normally produced in the springtime.
Wintergreen is a beautiful ground cover that gets this wonderful red color all around it through the berries and leaves in the fall. It gets about 6 inches tall and 12 inches wide, and though it can tolerate a variety of conditions, it does best in moist, well-draining soil.
Wintergreen is my favorite plant that we're covering this week, and you probably already know that name. It's the same wintergreen that's used to flavor toothpaste, gum, candy, and each of the berries of this plant carries that flavor to it. It's really light, sweet, slightly minty, and all berries are fully edible on this plant, so you can snack on them whenever you want. In addition to that sweet flavor, the leaves of the plant also contain methyl salicylate, which is kind of like nature's aspirin. It's an anti-inflammatory that helps with arthritis, aches, and pains.
Wintergreen is a native evergreen ground cover that enjoys growing in shady places with acidic and sandy soils, kind of like the pine barrens. Their flowers come out from early to mid-summer and are great for our pollinators. And as we go into fall and winter, they produce these lovely berries, which are a great food source for birds and small mammals.
So, if you've got a shady, well-draining spot in your yard, give yourself a minty treat and plant some wintergreen today. Now that you've absorbed everything you need to know about Plum Yews, Sweetbox, and Wintergreen, it's time to find a forever spot for these evergreens in your garden. So thanks again for joining us on yet another one of our deep dives. If you like what you're seeing, make sure to like this video, leave us a comment down below, let us know which plants you want to see next, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of this amazing content we're making for you. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.